This example looks at a single shot pharmaceutical in the form of a syringe filled with the drug. Each syringe is packed separately and they're used singly. So here's the process flow. We buy an expensive biologic raw material which has to be thawed out, then it's purified, there's ultrafiltration, then the solution is tested before the syringes are filled, the filled syringes are tested again, and then there's a visual inspection and packing. The operations model looks like this. You can see that there's a very high percentage of material cost and that the batch related labor cost is almost twice the volume related labor cost. So batches are obviously very significant here. Apart from that, there's nothing particularly unusual about this. So let's first tackle the question of material cost, because this seems to be the biggest issue here. And if we look at the process inputs, we can see that there's one particularly wasteful process, the purification, which actually wastes 65% of everything that goes in. So suppose we redevelop this so that this run waste is actually only 25%, still a lot, but a lot better than what we had before, and see what we get. We get a very large saving in material as we expected. Because we're processing less, there's less batches, so batch related cost goes down and volume related cost goes down. Inventory goes down in proportion to all of those things, but because we have a fixed batch size now at the front end of this process, the yield goes up so much that batch size at the back end of the process has got much greater, which has the effect of increasing response time. Because of the saving in the purification unit, that is no longer the constraint work center, which now moves to packing. Well, let's suppose we did a study on this and found that actually that improvement wasn't feasible. So let's put this number back where it was and just look at some other cost improvements. Well, the most obvious one to make in a batch related environment is to go for batch size. So let's add 50% to the batch size, turn it from 200 to 300 liters batch size. The immediate effect on cost is to save a little bit of cost, but it has a negative impact on response time and lead time. So what can we do about that? Well, if we have a look at the time and inventory picture, there is a 10-day finished goods hold time built into the lead time. Let's suppose we manage to take a whole week out of that and reduce it from 10 to 3 days. What does that do? Well, that has the effect of leaving costs the same, of course, but it reduces finished goods inventory, so that is now positive for us. And the extra 7 days puts the response time back into an improvement situation and lead time also. The utilization of the purification unit goes up a little bit, but still within the acceptable 80% figure that we normally work to. So these two examples are scenarios 32 and 33 in our book Bridge of Faith for Operations.